Good evening one and all. I welcome you all to Ganesh IAS Academy. In today's session, we'll be seeing science and technology based current affairs from the date August 14th to August 20th, 2023. Let us get into the news articles one by one. The first news for the day is lymphatic filariasis. What is this lymphatic filariasis? It is a disease, how it is caused, why is it in the news, and all those details we must have to understand. Okay. Lymphatic filariasis. Why is it in the news? Recently, Union Health Minister inaugurated second phase of annual nationwide mass drug administration. So, they are going to go for mass drug administration initiative, which is going to target lymphatic filariasis, this particular disease. What is this disease? We generally know this disease as elephantiasis. Okay, so let us understand what is the details about it, the further details about it. India aims to eliminate this particular disease by the year 2027, which is 3 years ahead of the global target, and this we are going to achieve through a mission drive strategy. So India has a mission drive strategy, and this initiative is one such initiative under this mission. Okay, mass drug administration, nationwide mass drug administration has been initiated. Next, what is this lymphatic filariasis? It is commonly known as elephantiasis, as we already saw, and it is a neglected tropical disease. All these points are very important. It is a tropical disease. Other than that, it is a parasitic infection. Okay, so it is caused by a parasite. This infection is caused by a parasite, and how will it get transmitted from one person to another? It will transmit through the bite of infected mosquitoes. So when a mosquito is infected by this particular infection of a parasite, and when that mosquito is going to bite human beings, they get infected by this lymphatic filariasis. Next, this impacts millions of individuals in tropical and subtropical regions across the country. So where does it occur? Tropical and subtropical regions. So this is also important. A question based on this may be asked in your prelims examination. So all these points are important with respect to lymphatic filariasis. What other things do we have to see? What are the causes and transmission? How is it caused and how is it transmitted from one person to another? First thing is, it is caused by infection with parasite. This we already saw, and these parasites are classified as nematodes. Okay, roundworms, also called as roundworms. They come under the family of Filariidae. Filariidae. Okay. Next, there are three types of filarial worms. What are they? Ucheraria bancrofti, Brugia malayi, and Brugia timori. These are the three different filarial worms, and of these, the first variety is responsible for 90% of the cases, and the rest of the cases are due to this Brugia malayi, and this Brugia timori is also responsible for certain cases. So it is also capable of causing this particular filariasis. Okay, so these names are important. You can have a look at it. Next, what are the symptoms and how is this particular disease is treated? Symptoms may be like, it may also be asymptomatic. Acute and chronic conditions will have different symptoms. Okay, so it may be asymptomatic first thing, and acute and chronic diseases will have some other symptoms. In case of chronic conditions, it leads to lymphedema. So it affects lymphatic system of our body. So edema means swelling in general. Okay, so when there is going to be tissue swelling, that is called as lymphedema, or else it may also lead to a condition called elephantiasis. This is a very common thing which you might have noticed in some people, elephantiasis. So what is it? Thickening of limbs. Okay, so skin or tissue thickening of limbs is called as elephantiasis, and it may also lead to hydrocele. What is hydrocele here? Scrotal swelling is called as hydrocele. Okay, when the scrotum swells, then that is called as hydrocele. Next, how is it treated? WHO has recommended 3 drug treatment for this particular lymphatic filariasis. And what are those three drugs and how is it called? It is called as IDA. What is IDNA? I is ivermectin and the second drug is D, that is diethyl carbamazine citrate. That is the second drug, and then the third one is albendazole. Okay, so these are the three drugs which are together administered to people who are having this lymphatic filariasis. Okay, so all these details are important from your exam point of view. The next topic for the day is centrifugal force. What is centrifugal force? Why is it in the news? Actually, there was an article about the centrifugal force and its application. Since it is science and technology related topic, we are studying this because a question based on the basic concepts of physics, chemistry and biology may be asked in your UPSC prelims. Okay, so that is why we are focusing on this particular topic, centrifugal force. What is centrifugal force? It is an outward force experienced by an object which is in continuous motion along the curved or circular path. So when an object is going to be in a motion along a curved or circular path, then it will experience an outward force. That force is called as centrifugal force. Centrifugal. Okay. There is also yet another force called centripetal force. It is completely opposite to this one. How is it opposite? We'll understand. And this force is not a true force but a result of inertia. These points are very important. Okay, so it is not a true force like gravitational force or magnetic force, but it is a result of inertia. And what is inertia? Inertia means tendency of an object to maintain its state of motion. If an object is going to be at rest, then it will continuously be at rest. Next, if an object is going to be in motion, it will continuously be in that motion. So that tendency of an object to maintain its state of motion is called as inertia, and just because of this inertia we are experiencing centrifugal force, because it is going to be continuously in that circular motion. Okay, next, this perceived force arises when an object moves along the curved path and always pointing away from the center of rotation. This is important, and this is where it varies from centripetal force, because in centripetal force the force acts inward or towards the center. Okay, but here it is always pointing away from the center of rotation. Next is, while not a genuine force, like we already saw, it is not a true force. It is not a true force. Okay, so it is not a genuine force like gravity or magnetism, but it emerges from an object's resistance to altering its direction, just like the inertia concept. So inertia means the object is going to resist any alteration to its direction. Okay, so that is what centrifugal force is. Where all do we see this centrifugal force? This is a typical example of how centrifugal force acts. There will be a rotating shaft either horizontally or vertically, and the centrifugal force here, when it is vertical, the centrifugal force acts this way because the object is going to be in this circular motion, and when the object is going to rotate like this, then the centripetal force will be here or even here. That is centripetal force. Okay, so it finds a number of applications in various fields. Best examples are, they are used in pharmaceutical industries, dairy industries, and also nuclear energy will use centrifuges. In one of our previous session, we already discussed about uranium enrichment. Even there, for uranium enrichment, centrifuges are used to separate uranium-238 and uranium-235. Okay, so the separation is affected by these centrifuges. Okay, so it will exploit this resistance. Okay, the centrifugal force offers resistance to any alteration in its direction, right? So they are going to exploit this application here in these industries. Other than that, in day-to-day application, washing machine. Okay, when we put clothes in the dryer, we generally observe this, that at the center there will be a gap created, and then at the periphery the clothes will get distributed. Okay, that is because of this centrifugal force which is acting on the clothes, and that is how the water molecules are removed from the clothes. Okay, so these are the applications of centrifugal force. You must have to understand the concept behind it. The next topic for the day is INS Vindhyagiri. Why is it in the news? For the past 2 weeks, it has been in the news. Let us get into the details of it. Our President, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, has launched INS Vindhyagiri, which is the final vessel of the project 17A. So, it is a project for frigate series. So, what are frigates here? We must have to understand that first and then come to other details. What are frigates? Frigate is a type of small escort ship. So, they are escort ships which are used to guard convoys from submarines, and it also has this anti-aircraft role, which means it is capable of attacking an aircraft. Okay, and then it is intermediate between destroyer and cruiser. Such points are important. Okay, so there are many different types of vessels in our Indian Navy, and one such vessel is destroyer, cruiser, and frigate, corvettes, submarines, and other such. This frigate will fall will fall between destroyer and cruiser in terms of its capability and size. Okay. Next, coming to the launch, the recent launch, it marked a significant milestone in India's maritime strength and self-reliance. And this INS Vindhyagiri is the 6th ship. Okay. So it is the 6th ship. This number is important. It is the 6th ship of the Project 17A frigate. What is this Project 17A? We have to understand, and furthermore details about this INS Vindhyagiri. This is that INS Vindhyagiri. It was launched at GRSE shipyard, which is located in Kolkata, and this is the 6th of the 7 ships under Project 17A. Okay, so there is yet another which is going to come in future, that will be Mahendragiri. Okay, so this is the 6th one, 6th of the 7 ships under Project 17A of frigates, and then 2 companies have constructed this. All these details we'll see one by one. 75% of the equipment is indigenous in this. Okay, so we'll see all those details here, and this point is also important. The old INS Vindhyagiri served from July 8, 1981 to June 11, 2012. Okay, so and now we have new INS Vindhyagiri. Next. So initially there was INS Nilgiri in this Project 17A series of frigates. The first ship was INS Nilgiri, then came Udaygiri, and then Himgiri, Taragiri, and Dunagiri, and then now it is Vindhyagiri. This is the 6th one. Okay, and then this Vindhyagiri has derived its name from the mountain range in Karnataka. Okay, so this must be kept in mind, because you should not confuse this with another mountain range, that is Vindhya range. Okay, so Vindhya range is actually in the states of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and also in Uttar Pradesh, the southern part of Uttar Pradesh. These are the states in which Vindhya range is spread. Okay, but then this Vindhyagiri is completely located in Karnataka. So this INS Vindhyagiri is named after this mountain ranges in Karnataka and not the Vindhya mountain range. Okay, next, these frigates are a follow-on class of Project 17. Already there was a Shivalik class of frigates called Project 17, and this 17A is actually a follow-on class of Project 17. Next, it is built by Garden Research Shipbuilders and Engineers, that is GRSE, like we saw in the previous slide, which is located in Calcutta. Okay. Next, what are the key features of this particular INS Vindhyagiri? First thing is, it employs cutting-edge propulsion system which enables it to move in a faster pace. That is, its speed will be over 28 knots. Okay, so when there is enhanced speed, then obviously there will be rapid response and agility. Okay, next thing is, it is equipped with state-of-the-art stealth features. What is stealth features? to act in a discreet manner, to avoid detection by others. That is called as stealth. Okay, so it is equipped with state-of-the-art stealth features which will enhance its ability to operate very discreetly and minimize detection. Other than that, we already saw that 75% of this equipment and system is indigenous, which are mostly prepared by our MSME sector. Okay, the micro, small and medium enterprises sector. Next, project 17A, we have to see what are all the vehicles under, vessels under project 17A, and what are the other frigates that India has. All those details we must have to know. First thing is project 17A Alpha frigates. This A means Alpha, okay. So it was launched in the year 2019 by Indian Navy, and the first stealth ship of this series is INS Nilgiri. Okay, which was launched in the same year 2019, and then the project was launched to construct a series of stealth guided missile frigates. So they are missile frigates, which means they are capable of attacking an aircraft. Okay, next, these are the two companies which are going to construct these ships. First company is Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders, which is located in Mumbai. And then we already saw Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, which is in Kolkata. Okay, so these two companies are going to construct. Next, what are all the frigates that India has? First, Shivalik class, also called as Project 17. Now what we have is Project 17A, which is a follow-on mission of this thing. Okay, so it is also a stealth guided missile. Under this Shivalik class, we have Shivalik, Satpura and Shayadri. Okay, and then came Talwar class of frigates, and under this we have Talwar, Trishul, Tabhar, Tej, Tarkash and Trikant. Okay, so these are the frigates under this class. So if you see, they are named after the first class. Okay, so likewise project 17A is also called as Nilgiri class. Okay, so that also you must have to keep in mind. Project 17 is called Shivalik class because the first vessel was INS Shivalik. Similarly, for project 17A, the first vessel is INS Nilgiri. Thus, it is also called as Nilgiri class. Okay. Before that, we also had Brahmaputra class and Godavari class. And from Godavari class, there was one vessel, that is INS Gomati, which was decommissioned after 34 years of service in the year 2022. Okay, so all these details are important, and this project 17A is operational from the year 2019. Okay, so all these details are important, and under Nilgiri class we already saw Nilgiri, Himgiri, Taragiri, Udaygiri, Dunagiri, and now we have Vindhyagiri, and in future the seventh vehicle will be coming, that will be INS Mahendragiri. Okay, so all these details are important from exam point of view. The next topic for the day is urea gold fertilizer. What is this urea gold fertilizer? Why is it in the news? Like, does it have something to do with gold or not? Those details we must have to understand. You should not get confused with the name itself. Okay, this fertilizer has nothing to do with gold as a metal as such. Okay, so what is it? Urea gold fertilizer. Recently our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has officially launched urea gold fertilizer. And who has developed this fertilizer? It was developed by Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers Limited, which is a public sector company who is leading in the production of fertilizers and other chemicals in India. Okay, next, what is this urea gold? It is created by infusing urea with sulfur. Okay, so when urea is infused with sulfur, that is called as urea gold. Thus, it will create a composite fertilizer which will be having 37% nitrogen and 17% sulfur. These composition numbers are very important from your exam point of view, from your prelims point of view. Next, this nutrient blend serves two primary objectives. These are important. First thing is, it will be fulfilling sulfur requirements in Indian soil, because at many places Indian soil is deficient in sulfur. Okay, sulfur as an element is very important for certain crops. We'll see the details of it. And then it also enhances the nitrogen use efficiency. These are the two major objectives of this urea gold fertilizer. And this fact is important. That is, normal urea will be containing 46% of single plant nutrient. What is that nutrient here? Nitrogen. Here only nitrogen 46%. Here you have 37% nitrogen and 17% sulfur. That is the difference between the normal urea and the urea gold fertilizer. Okay. Next, what are the advantages of it? First thing is, it will be addressing soil deficiency. Like we saw, Indian soils are frequently lacking sulfur, which is a very important elementary particle for, an element which is useful for oil seeds and pulses. Okay. Next, enhancing nitrogen efficiency. Like we already saw, it enhances nitrogen use efficiency. How is it going to do that? We need to know, because when it is coated with sulfur, it will prolong nutrient availability. Okay. So when there is sulfur coating, it will enable gradual release of nitrogen. So when the nitrogen is going to get released gradually, then obviously it will prolong the nutrient availability. What is the nutrient that we are talking here about here? It is nitrogen. Okay. It will be prolonged. First thing. Next, when there is a prolongation of nutrient availability, then the plant will be greener for a longer period of time. Okay. So the plant maintain their greenness for extended duration. Why is this thing required? Because generally what our farmers do is, whenever the plant is going to get converted into a greenish color, okay, due to xanthophyll present, technically speaking, okay, this greenness is because of chlorophyll, and the yellowness of the leaves are due to xanthophyll. Okay, so the farmers tend to apply urea when they notice the leaves turning yellowish. Okay, so when the greenness is going to be there for an extended duration, then it will obviously reduce the frequency of usage of fertilizer. So this way we can also reduce the use of fertilizer and also use it very efficiently, thus enhancing nitrogen efficiency. Okay, so these are the advantages of it. Other than that, it also increases the productivity. Okay, so the yield is also increased here. How is it going to increase yield? Because there will be gradual release of nutrients here, which will minimize the waste and also enhances the nutrient uptake by the plants. Thus it will enhance the productivity or yield. Okay, so is this the first time that such interventions happen in urea? No, there were previous interventions like this. First one is neem coated urea. What is neem coated urea? They will be coated, urea will be coated with neem oil. So why have they done this in the past? Because they need to reduce the leaching and volatilization loss of nitrogen. Okay, so generally nitrogen get lost due to volatilization, and it is also leached by surface runoff. Okay, so to avoid this, neem oil coating was given. That is called as neem coated urea. Other than this neem coated urea also had other benefits like insecticidal and nematicidal properties. What is insecticidal? Insecticidal means it will be against insects, any insects. And what is nematode? We already saw worms, right? So such worms will not be affecting the plants if there is nematicidal properties in that urea, in that fertilizer. Okay, and it will also enhance soil texture and water holding capacity of the soil. Other than that, we also had in the past liquid nano urea. It is also still used. Okay, so liquid nano urea, so it uses nanotechnology based fertilizer. So whenever there is nanotechnology, it means they are going to address the issue in a very small level, which means they will be addressing it very precisely. Okay, so the nutrients will get assimilated by the plant cell very efficiently here. Other than that, it enhances nutritional quality and productivity of the crop. Okay, so these are the things you need to understand about this urea gold. What is it? What is its composition? All those details we need to know. The next topic for the day is radio thermoelectric generators. What are these generators? What are its application? Let us understand. Why is it in the news? Recently, ISRO and BARC, okay, Indian Space Research Organization, and BARC, that is Baba Atomic Research Center, has embarked in a joint development. Okay, so they have jointly developed this radio thermoelectric generators. What are these radio thermoelectric generators, and what is its aim? It is mainly aimed at surpassing the constraints of conventional chemical engines for interplanetary voyages. We are sending many rockets to other planets, so such a mission is called as interplanetary voyages. Okay, so when we are involved in interplanetary voyages, then we need sufficient fuel to reach that planet. Okay, so the conventional chemical engines has certain drawbacks. What are they? Chemical engines work well for satellite thrusters. Okay, they will be working as a good thruster, but then they are inadequate for deep space travel. One thing, it is because of the fuel limitation, because they cannot carry so much of fuel. Okay, already the fuel is the one which occupies the maximum part of the rocket. Okay, so they are carrying a lot of fuel. More than that, it is not possible. Other than that, lack of solar power in distant regions. So when there is deep space travel and when they go more away from the sunlight, I mean the sun's exposure, then there will be lack of solar power. Okay, they won't be able to harness the solar energy. This is one point. These are the problems related to chemical engine, and as an alternative to these chemical engines, we have this radio thermoelectric generators. Okay, so these radio thermoelectric generators have been successfully employed already in US spacecrafts like Voyager, Cassini, and then Curiosity, and it has been exceptionally working. So India has also adopted this now. What other things do we have to know? So it will be addressing the challenges in deep space missions, one thing. Next, RTG utilize radioactive materials like plutonium-238 and strontium-90. These are the radioactive materials it will be using. These are just examples, okay? And these radioactive materials will emit heat as they decay over time. Okay, radioactive materials have this capability, their feature or their characteristic is that they will decay over time. Okay, so when they decay, they emit heat, and this heat is going to get harnessed. Okay, so the heat is harnessed and converted into electricity, and they are going to use couple of components. The first component here is radioisotope heater unit, because to initiate the decay process they must have this radioisotope heater unit, and this is responsible for generating the heat through decay of radioactive materials, and it will initiate the process by releasing thermal energy. Okay, so when the thermal energy is released or the heat energy is released, it is then converted into electrical energy. How is it going to get converted into electrical energy? That we'll know. For that, we have another unit or component called RTG unit, that is heat to electricity conversion. How does it happen? The heat generated will be converted into usable electricity, and this conversion takes place through a thermocouple. And what is thermocouple here? This becomes question area. What is a thermocouple? A material that generates voltage when subjected to temperature gradient. What is temperature gradient? When there is difference in temperature, higher temperature and lower temperature. So these materials, when they are subjected to temperature gradient, they will be generating voltages, and these voltages are used to store, charge batteries. Okay, so the voltage produced by the thermocouple is utilized to charge batteries, and when the battery is charged, then that charge is used for propulsion. Okay, so it is used for propulsion mechanisms, and it will enable interplanetary travel. So what is the advantage of this RTG over the conventional engine? First thing is RTG for space missions. Okay, independence from solar proximity. Like we saw already, in conventional chemical engines, they use fuels, one thing. Other than that, solar energy is also harnessed. Okay, it means they have to be near to solar energy source, near sun. Okay, they cannot go far away from sun, and deep space exploration will not be possible. But then with RTG, it gains independence from solar proximity. Okay, so unlike solar powered system, RTG operate effectively regardless of the spacecraft's distance from the sun. First thing. Next is, due to this characteristic, it eliminates any constraints related to launch window and planetary alignment. This is also important. Okay, so just because we need to harness this solar energy, what they'll do is they will be having a launch window. In this particular date, in this particular time, if you launch, you can harness more solar energy. Like that, they'll plan and then they will launch vehicles. And then they will also have planetary alignment. Okay, only when the spacecraft is placed at that particular alignment, there will be more harnessing of solar energy. This is what they plan. Okay, but with RTG, all such planning is not required. Okay, because they are independent from solar proximity. Next is reliability and consistency. Yes, they are reliable and consistent. It offers consistent and reliable source of power, which is essential for sustaining prolonged deep space missions, and there will be gradual decay of radioactive materials, which will ensure supply of heat and electricity, because radioactive materials will be released, it will be decayed very slowly, very gradually. So there will be sustained release, and then deep space mission is possible. Okay, so with this, we are coming to end of today's session. I hope you enjoyed the session. Let us see in the next session. Thank you.